You can live a life full of love and light if you just let the Spirit guide you. It's the remedy where you'll find peace, but you must let the Spirit guide you.
Who made y'all priests?
What's up, world? This is the Honorable Minister Awo Fafore Fayemi.
What's going on, good people? This is Oseun. Welcome back to the Who Made Y'all Priest podcast, where we talk about our spiritual journeys, our everyday life experiences, and the issues of the time from the perspective of two people who just happen to be priests. What's going on, Honorable Minister?
So you ain't know I was gonna hit you with that today.
I know you rehearsed it. You had to rehearse that before you came on.
Now, you know what's crazy is that I was entered in my name, and I said, you know what? I said, now that I'm an ordained minister, that this was gonna be my title. So I said, you know what? Let me just remind the people, so when they see me in the streets, it's Honorable Minister,
All
like
right.
Farrakhan.
All right. What's been going on with you, man? Talk to me.
Whew. What's been going on? Man, let me tell you. So last week, on Monday, I had to go out of town for work, right? My trip was supposed to be from Monday, coming back on Sunday. Had to go out to like the San Francisco area. And then for the weekend, I was just gonna stay behind and just chill, Universal Year 7, Life Path 7, Personal Year 7, talks about needing some alone time. So I was gonna start off the first of my personal month 7 with some alone time, right? Mm-hmm. Had everything set, ready to go. It was cool. I fly in to Oakland International Airport. So fly into the airport. I go to the rental car place, go to Hertz to pick up my car. It's only me in line. So when I go there, I'm a social butterfly. So I'm just talking to all the people, the workers up front. And then one of them says to me, hey, do not leave any valuables in the car. I said, okay. He said, they breaking in the cars and they taking stuff. I said, okay, I got you. Then the lady next to him, she chimed in. Then the dude next to her chimed in. And they talking about it. I'm like, dang, y'all made this sound like Compton. Or like we in Baltimore or something.
All right.
Then they all looked at me like, something like it. Like it's been getting bad with, break-ins, this, that, and the other. I said, okay, no problem. So I get my car. Now, let me back up. I travel a lot. But before I take any trip, I don't care if it's business or personal, I divine on it. See if I need to make any prayers or offerings to make sure I have a good trip, make sure I'm safe. 9.9 times out of 10 is no, you don't have to do anything. And I'm talking about, on average, I'm probably been flying, especially like the last few years, probably 10, 12, 13 times a year, right? So, again, rarely do I have to do any prayers or offerings after a safe trip, but I always still pray to my ancestors and my implements about having a safe trip regardless. This time, I had to do a whole hour-long ritual. So my first thought is, oh, hell. Like, what's about to go on that I got to do all of this to make sure everything's sweet? So I do the ritual late at night because I had a whole bunch of plans throughout the day. And again, I'm not used to having to do anything to go on a trip. So I get in the car. Now, where I'm staying is actually a city called Martinez, which is about 30, 40 minutes outside of like Oakland, San Francisco area, right? And there's not a lot of plant-based or vegan options. So I have found me a really, highly rated Ethiopian restaurant about 20 minutes away from the airport, but still in the city of Oakland. So I'm like, all right, that's where I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go eat there, get on the road. So I pull in. Now, as I'm getting there, like I'm looking at the navigation system, so I'm real close. It's like this big park, right, with this big, like man-made body of water, and it's like a trail that goes around it. I'm like, this is dope. Like, it looks beautiful. So I'm like, I got some time. I think I land at like, by the time I get my bags in my car, it's probably about 4 o'clock, right?
Mhm.
So about a 30, 40-minute ride to the hotel. I'm like, I got time. I ain't gonna do nothing once I get to the hotel. So I'm like, when I get done eating, I'm gonna go to this park. So the park is huge. So when I'm coming around the corner, it's like, yo, you got like a minute walk to the restaurant. I can see where the restaurant is, but there's a parking spot right next to this park. So I go ahead and I pull in and I park there, right? So I'm parked on a very busy street and it's 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm talking about the street is like a lot of cars driving by. Beautiful park. You got people out there sunbathing. You got people out there with their families, the whole nine, right? So I park there, put my money in the meter, and then I go to the restaurant. And sure enough, it's about a minute walk from where I park. As I go in, there's a sign that says, do not leave your valuables in the car. So I go back to the car. Now I have like one of them soccer mom SUV car. It's a Ford Edge.
Mm-hmm.
So I go back to the car, I pop the trunk. I take my book bag out. My book bag has my work laptop in it. So I take my work laptop out. I take my suitcase and I push it all the way to the front to the seat. And then I take my sweatshirt and cover it. Close the door. Now, the back of the windows are super tinted. So I shut the door and then I go through what I call my ghetto sixth sense. I'm like, all right, parked on a busy street, a lot of cars, this big, beautiful park, a lot of foot traffic in a really nice neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
I said, you can't see what's in what's in the back of the car unless you really get up on it because the window's tinted. Like, I'm talking about like dark, dark tinted. I'm like, all right, I'm good. Go back in the restaurant. Go back in the restaurant, eat. I'm in there about 30 minutes. I come out and I'm on the phone. And I'm on the phone, I'm looking down, I'm like, man, that's crazy. People trifling. I'm like, you got this nice neighborhood. You're right in front of this park, and people just got glass, just broke some glass out here. Like, that's crazy. I hit the alarm on the car or unlock the door. I reach out to open the door, and I can see through the back. Somebody then came in that 30 minutes and smashed the back of my window. And I'm just froze like, what the hell?
Right.
So I get heated. I'm like kind of jogging through the park now, right? With my head on the swivel, hoping I see somebody, pulling my suitcase along, right? I'm looking around like crazy. A homeless man, I see a homeless man sitting on the bench. I asked him like, hey, you see somebody over at this car? And he looking at me like I speak a whole nother language. And I'm like, man, why am I asking this dude? Like, I know he ain't gonna say nothing. And so I do that for about 3 minutes. Then I'm like, all right, time to focus. What you need to do. I called the place. They said you can drive the car. Just come on back. So I take the car back. it's whistling in the back because the big hole. And every little bump I hear some of the glass falling down.
Right.
I'm like, man, that's crazy. So I get there, I go back to the airport, go to Hertz. They see me coming in, they be like, oh, you got huh? I said, yeah. So I fill out this little paperwork. They give me a card to go in and give me a new card. So I go in, and this lady that's in the back of the line overheard me talk, and she was like, they broke into your car. And I'm like, yeah, they broke into my car. She like, man, I come out here, all the time for work. And it's bad out here. I'm like, for real? She like, yeah. She's like, it's bad to the point where my company is trying to figure out like different, ways of doing things, to where they're considering going with a local rental car company, because a lot of times what they'll do is they'll see the out of state plates, and then that's who they'll target.
Right.
And then she was telling me stories, and then some of the people who work there were telling me stories about people will get followed from the airport, and they would wait for you to park and get out, and then they would, smash your window in and take your stuff. All these kind of crazy stories. I'm like, dang. And she was like, so when you come here, you got to go right to the hotel and, unload your stuff. I was like, but I've been traveling all day. I'm hungry. I had to stop and get me something to eat. You know what I'm saying? Because I got like almost an hour drive. And she was like, well, I got almost an hour drive from here too. I was like, but yeah, you're right. I guess that's what I'm going to have to do from now on, because I may have to go out there, multiple times in the future. So I get the car. The whole exchange was really quick and easy. I get on the road. I go to the hotel, check in, and then I leave right back out, because I dropped off my book bag. That's all I had. I go out to go shopping to get me some clothes and stuff, toiletries, whatever. Now, Martinez, where I was, probably only got about a handful of black people, because Target ain't had none of the black, no good shea butter. They ain't had none of that, right? They ain't had no wooden combs, no brushes for the beard, none of that. I said, "Oh, y'all tripping?"
Right.
So I had to go to like Marshalls, I think, to get me an outfit together, because that mall closed there like super early. And I was like, I probably can get better stuff in Oakland, but at this point, I'm like, I'm getting out of Oakland as fast as I can. Like, I'm cool on Oakland. So I had to go to like Marshalls and TJ Maxx and, piece me together a couple of things. I went to a DSW so I can get me some shoes to wear, you know what I'm saying, for the next day. So I got all of that. So I'm at this little shopping center on my way to DSW. And who do I see? The lady that was in front of me. I said, oh, she did say she had to come like an hour away, or almost an hour away. We in the same area, right? So I see her, and she stops and turns around and goes back the other way. So she sees me, and she was like, hey, they got me too.
Wow.
I said, that is crazy. I'm like, for real? She's like, yep.
The same
So,
day.
like, literally, like, I had just left her. You know what I'm saying? So, like, we got our cars, and I checked in and dropped off my bag and went right back out to start doing some shopping. So yeah. So if you in the Bay Area, or if you decide to go to the Bay Area, first of all, don't get an SUV at all. Where they can see in the back where you got packages, this, that, that. No, you want a car with a trunk. Don't even. But to be on the safe side, go right to the hotel, drop your stuff off. You do not want them problems in the Bay Area.
It seems to me that that SU came to you and a few people and a sign on the door telling you not to leave your valuables in the car, seemed like you was kind of hard headed and you just wanted to carry your book bag, and you felt like you'd be safe having the leaving your suitcase and your juju bag and all of that still in the vehicle. So
Right.
so as you provided for you the signs and symbols that you needed, you just didn't take heed that day.
Now
You
I
just
ain't
didn't
take
take heed.
heed to the whole thing. And here's the dope part. So I got a group chat with our Oseun and one of the senior priests. And he texted in there, made a comment about my window getting busted out. He was like, "Did you divine and ask E5 about what that was?" And I was like, "Man, they got me for my Opuele. They took all my divine and stuff." Which crazy thing about it is, remember when me and you went to VA and you asked me, did I pack my Opuele or did I keep it on me? I said I always keep it on me.
Mm,
But I had so much stuff, snacks and food and all that stuff that I was carrying with me on top of my laptop and all that, and books so I can read on the way there. I just didn't have enough space. So I was like, you know what? I ain't gonna need it until, I get to where I'm going anyway. So this the first time I've ever packed my Puerto.
mm,
And that was the Puerto that we got when we got initiated. And I only use it when I travel because I don't
right.
take, my Puerto that I keep at home, the one that I normally use. So now I got to get a newer Puerto, so I can always have two. Have one that I take with me and travel and move around with, and one that's always stay in the house. I had to give me some new Obies, and a couple other things. Have some oils and stuff in there. Yeah, they got all kind of stuff. You
Yeah,
know.
man. You
Yeah.
shook back though. You shook back, and you gonna shake back. We're gonna go get back at him, man.
Right. Right. Yeah. See, I
Yeah, we
love
gotta
that.
get we gotta get back at them, man.
Right. Right. How you gonna rob a priest?
Right. Right. I don't think the priest paid attention to the signs and the symbols this time though. So
Yeah. Yeah. They caught me lacking. I ain't. You know what I'm saying? I ain't even mad. I'm like, they caught me lacking. I did get like loud and clear. I got the signs and symbols, and then
Mm,
but in that text message, he was like, "Well, you ain't asked your brother to divine for you, so you divine on the trip, and why I got peeled while I was there, and yeah, it was a lot of a
yeah,
lot
man.
of issue energy.
A whole lot. That was crazy. That was crazy because I didn't know about the sign on the door.
Hmm.
I didn't know about that many people telling you about removing your valuables from the car. So, and three, nonetheless, I didn't know that it was three people telling you. Uh,
And if you didn't say that, my next question was gonna be like, and guess how many people told me?
right? Yeah,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, you had all the signs and symbols, and then when I did the divination, and she was very prevalent in your reading and talking about your mindset and how you saw things, in this case didn't see things, or saw things and didn't take heed to them. So yeah man, it's a
Yeah,
it's a it's a lesson learned.
absolutely.
Yeah,
But
I'm glad you was able to shake back though. I'm glad you had the experience, but I'm glad you're able to shake back though.
I'm not glad I had the experience. But the good thing about it is though, I mean, because I was traveling for work, they get that insurance on there. So everything is covered. You know, I lost some time if that's how you look at it. But, you know, everything else is coming back to me. Like, thank God for Amazon. I ordered because I had my trimmers and my shavers for my head. So I had to call them. I mean, I called them. I had to get to Amazon and get the stuff reordered and all that other stuff.
Mhm.
Um, so it worked out. I got me my same suitcase. I ordered it at Amazon, got it sent to me. So, it all worked itself out. Like I said, I'm only out, you know, the time that it took me to kind of go around to 1,700 different stores, literally, to gather all this stuff up. I had to go shopping on 3 different occasions to get, all the stuff that I needed for the trip because, I just couldn't. I mean, I'm in a little city.
Right.
little town. So,
Yeah.
but it all worked itself out.
Yeah. And it seemed like you had a good time that weekend too. I saw you in a what looked like a red forest to me.
Yeah, Muir Woods. That's
Mm.
where I went to, man. Muir Woods. It was dope. So the crazy part is that when I went to San Francisco a couple of years ago, I pulled up there because I to go through the forest. Now at the time, I didn't know that you needed reservations, so when I got there, I got turned away.
Mm.
So it's interesting because when I went at that time, it was just kind of something to scratch off my list of things that I did. I didn't know anything about it until I had just Googled things in the area. I'm like, oh, this seemed cool. I walked the Golden Gate Bridge and did all of that, and then I'm like, oh, okay, one day I'm gonna go check this place out that I had just found out about. And it was like I got turned away at that point because it was just something to do in that moment.
Mm.
But being that personal year 7, universal year 7, life path 7, personal month 7, it was like I needed it. I needed that solitude in nature, and I got access. And it
Right.
was a beautiful trip. I meditated and prayed barefoot, in the forest. I was out there hugging trees, and I'm telling you, man, when you in that type of space, you really can feel the vibration from the earth, man. The earth is a living thing, literally.
Mm.
So yeah, it was dope, man. It was beautiful.
Yeah, man. It sounds like a good experience. I don't have anything pulling at me to go to California or really anything on the West Coast on the cool. I do want to go to I do want to go out there and visit Babo Bani and Ia out there on all that land. I would like to go out there and see that. But
Yeah, oh yeah, yeah.
other than that,
Seattle.
I don't really have any desire to go uh really anywhere in the United States. I mean, I love Virginia, so I could definitely go back to Virginia. Um I loved South Carolina when I was in South Carolina, so I guess it's something about that little area over there. I know my ancestors came through there, so or all of our ancestors more than likely came through there. But yeah, so it was that was an experience. But other than that, nah, man, I want to get out of the country. I want to go to Brazil. I want to go to Panama. I want to go to Africa for sure. Sierra Leone in particular. I need to go to Sierra Leone. I want to go to Ghana. I want to go to Egypt and Ethiopia. So yeah,
Absolutely.
man. Yeah. So what we got, man? We need to give some shout outs to some people that make this Who Made Y'all Priest podcast possible. Um, we want to first give a shout out to my own Apetobi, Tabitha Ifadar Fayemi, Pharrell, and Earth and Water Clothing Designs. You can see she made this Who Made Y'all Priest t-shirt. Her thing is all about empowerment and positivity. So y'all check her out. She's on TikTok, IG, and if y'all just want to get her directly, she's taking text messages at 346-831-5387. Y'all let her know what y'all need, man. T-shirts, she's doing cups, she's doing hats, she's doing all of the things, man. So y'all check out.
Absolutely. You can see her Instagram somewhere right down here. It'll be so y'all can, what I'm saying, hit her up. She just blessed me with 3 Who Made Y'all pre-shirts. I ain't wear mine just because I'm like, the way I'm sitting, I know y'all wasn't gonna be able to see it. But when I wear them, I'm gonna take the pictures. I'm gonna show y'all. It look just like Oseun's. But we're gonna have them available though soon though. So, come check us out. Support. Get y'all some merch.
Yeah, man, check us out.
But we also want to give some shout outs, being that this is the season finale of season 4. We want to give some shout outs to the people who help us make this podcast each and every episode. Like without them, man, we would be out here struggling. We
Right.
might have to go back to season 1, just just doing audio only.
Right.
But we want to give a special shout out to Kurt Kareem, the guy that does our editing. I mean, he does a fantastic job. Again, he makes, our videos beautiful. We probably got 40 bloopers per episode that he takes out for us,
Right.
One day we're going to keep them blooper reels and just come out with a blooper reel.
Right.
But,
Right.
the sound effects and all those different things, man, thank you to Kurt for just making our episodes cohesive. So we greatly appreciate it. We couldn't do it without you.
Yeah, we appreciate you, Kurt.
Secondly, we want to give a shout out to my brother, to my Sands, my frat brother, Mike Wilson, for doing our reel. So every week we start off the week in advertising with a reel. He puts all our reels together and, kind of makes our stuff pop, make us look real professional.
Right. We appreciate you, Big Mike.
Yeah, man, we appreciate you. Always bringing that creativity to the reels. We also want to give a very special shout out to Ifa Kimi, who is the one who brings you the Ori stories. That has been a great addition to the podcast this season.
Right.
I love the stories. I was a fan of the stories. Oseun was a fan of the stories, just watching them on, her Instagram page and her TikTok. And we were watching those on our own separately and came together like, yo, we need that. Like we were both on the same page at the same time. So Ifa Kimi, thank you for blessing us. Hopefully you continue to bless us next season. She just got a new job and she'll be moving away, but hopefully she continues to bless us and bless the people with those Ori stories. Congratulations to Ifa Kimi on your new opportunity and your new chapter in life.
Ashe. And just so the people know and understand that I was the one that was very attracted to the stories at first, and my my brother, the Honorable Minister Awo Fafore Fayemi, he wasn't too enthralled by by the stories. By the stories. I used to tell him all the time, man, you gotta read the stories, man. The stories are where the juju is at, man. That's where the magic is at. But eventually he came around, man. He came around and now it's all about the stories. It's all about the stories. So yeah.
Facts, true story.
These are the stories that we're gonna have to tell our children and our grandchildren, so they continue to carry the legacy of our ancestors on. These stories are going to be very important to us and what we leave behind to our children and grandchildren. So yeah, we appreciate you, Ifa Kimi.
Absolutely, I gotta agree. I wasn't on them at first, not at all.
Right.
But then, last but certainly not least, we want to give an extra special thank you and let you know that we appreciate all the listeners,
all of y'all
who show up every week. Let's give a round of applause for y'all. Thank y'all for showing up each and every week, for hanging out with us. Thank you for your likes. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for leaving comments. Thank you for commenting on Instagram and TikTok, and even the questions and the comments to the DMs. We love those conversations in the DMs. Even people who feel like it's a little schizophrenic because you got two people both responding to you at the same time a lot of times.
Right.
So they're like, wait a minute, who is who? What's going on? So man, we greatly appreciate y'all.
We definitely do. Yeah, this podcast wouldn't be possible without y'all. Like Fafore said on the IG page, we get a lot of people asking, "Hey, who am I talking to right now? Am I talking to our Fafore or our Oseun?" They usually can tell who's who. The people that have really been rocking with us from the beginning, they can tell who's who, because I think I'm a little more grammatically correct when I write. So a lot of people like, I know I'm talking to Oseun because he sounds like a professor. Yeah. So
absolutely.
Yeah, we love y'all. Absolutely. We appreciate y'all. We ask that y'all continue to rock with us. We got big things in store. Things are only going to get better and better. So y'all stick with us. Tell your friends, tell a friend to tell a friend, y'all continue to come check us out, man.
Absolutely. So let's kind of, get into the topic. So we got a couple of topics for today. So first, and kind of recapping the season. So tell me, what did you think about the season, and what are some of the episodes or the episode that kind of stood out for you?
I think this was a different season for us. This was the first time we really kind of got into some controversial topics. What I wanted to do from the beginning, from the very beginning, I wanted to be controversial. We finally got into some controversial topics, especially about the LGBTQIA plus community. That episode was something very different for us because we knew that it was going to be controversial. That was so much back and forth about that episode. We got so much feedback about that episode through text messages, through voice notes on the IG. We had a lot of people talking about that particular episode. We had a lot of people ask why we didn't have men on that episode. So that may be something coming in the future. But
Right.
I think that was the most talked about episode that we did this season. Um, if I'm talking about my favorite episode, though, I think I'm a little biased. So I'm gonna have to say that my favorite episode is the episode with all of our brothers on there, where we got a chance to share the screen with the 8 other brothers that were born with us out of the womb of the forest. That was a beautiful episode for us. We talked to them for so long, my eyes started hurting. That was this is how I know I probably couldn't do any type of job or have any type of career where I had to sit in front of a screen for any significant amount of time. I definitely wouldn't be able to do that. But yeah, man, that's probably was my favorite episode. What about you?
Yeah, the to talk about the LGBT episode. We haven't really had anything controversial since the two Roe v. Wade episodes that we did in season one,
Mm.
and it was a couple people who kind of were mad, who really had strong opinions from that episode. I felt what's funny is I felt like I was I don't know, like a LGBT activist or something, a gay
Right.
rights activist after that episode because of the responses that we received from people who were EFI practitioners.
Mm.
And I was disappointed in some of the responses that we received because there was a place of people having their views on things and their way of seeing the world, and couldn't move to the middle
Mm.
to be able to see both sides. You know, when people would ask me, "Are you for or against that?" I would be like, "Well, neither. It's it's an expression. It's a human expression. When it entered into um, the earthly realm, I don't know. Some people say there's always been, gay people. I don't believe that to be the case, but that's neither here nor there. It at some point entered into our existence as a human expression, an earthly expression, right? And it's going to be here for as long as it's here. The thing is that not to be in judgment of that.
Right.
Again, is always to kind of, as a priest, we're taught to sit in the middle and to see, both sides, right? To understand the full picture. And when I would try to explain to certain people, because there were people who just flat out question, why would y'all even do that episode, right? Why would you even make this a thing? Why would you put that on your platform? And my whole thing was, well, in Africa, sexuality, from what I hear, because I haven't been there as a priest, and but as sexuality isn't talked about, they always say they don't care about who you're having sex with.
Right.
But this isn't Africa. We don't live in Africa. You know, LGBT is a movement, right? And it's important that we talk about all things that exist to understand why. What's the reason for this? In everything. What's the lesson to learn? What am I to gain from this? So yeah, there was a lot of African spiritualists who were just closed off. But I also think on the other side, though, there's the people who are a part of this community who also need to actually find their way to the middle so they can see both sides.
Right.
So they can ask themselves, why did I choose this lifestyle? Why is this my expression? What am I to learn from this? Right? And I don't think people on either side are actually trying to find their way to the middle.
Right.
So that was the thing that bothered me. I know Nadia was the one who the name we was getting all the time. People was like, yo, Nadia, man, is tripping. I
Right.
mean, people was mad at Nadia.
They were.
And what I realized that when people have strong opinions on anything, they're going to elicit that kind of emotion from other people for whatever reason.
Right.
People like people who are kind of like, it's whatever, maybe so, maybe not, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. But whatever it is, if you stand firmly on something, you are going to have people who are just going to just not like your position. They're going to have an issue with you standing firmly on any position. So, yeah, that's the name that we were hearing a lot about. And I hopefully that through her journey, she's able to find herself to sit in the middle. And that's for everybody on any, thing of life, any situation, any cause, try to find yourself to the middle so you can actually really get to see things and really understand them from an unbiased perspective.
Right.
You and I often say we don't care what the answer is. We just want to know what it is.
Right. Exactly.
We don't have any bias as to if it's yes, no, up, down, left, right, black, white. I just want to know.
Right. 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 And speaking of Nadia, we got a congratulations for her also. She just recently got accepted into grad school out in California. So congratulations, Nadia, on being accepted into grad school. We hope you go out there and do big things. Know that people are still talking about you concerning that episode, but we enjoyed the episode, so we hope you enjoyed it also, and we hope you go on to do big things.
Yeah. Give them hell out there.
Yeah, man. So what was your favorite episode, though? What do you think your favorite episode was?
What was my favorite episode? Man, it was so many. The episode with Baba Todd. I really liked. I love the subject matter. Right. Baba Todd's message was not we're better than Christians and Ifa over Christianity. It was we all have the same foundation.
Mm-hmm.
And let me show you how. Let me show you why.
Right.
Let me show you how universal these concepts are.
Mm-hmm.
These ideas that you think are not approved of in the Bible. These concepts that we think that the Bible speaks down on, divination, ancestor reference, even sacrifice.
Right.
And
ritual.
And ritual. Exactly. All of those things are in the Bible. And not in the Bible from a standpoint that they are talked down upon in the Bible. So that was an episode that we had been waiting to do and we had been looking forward to doing for
Right.
quite some time, you know. And like you said, I love, because I got a lot of fives in my chart, I loved having the freedom to talk about whatever we wanted to talk about as it came up. I think the theme seasons were important,
Mm-hmm.
and we had to do them, you know, because that's some information that, you know, we felt strongly about that was important for us to get out. So we wanted to make sure that we talked about it, and we wanted to talk about the divine feminine and healing in a way in which benefited the community as a whole. And I'm talking about like the worldwide community. So we tapped in a lot of different things. But to have the freedom that as things come to us that we wanted to talk about, we could just do it.
Right.
You know, we didn't have to wait for another season. Or in some instances, we had ideas in season 2 that we had to wait. You know, we couldn't do it in 2 or 3. We had to wait to now. So I love that type of freedom, you
Mm-hmm.
know. And this is probably going to be where it's going to be moving forward, unless
Right.
for whatever reason we get that feeling to where we got to bring back a theme season. But yeah, overall, I love the flexibility to go from topic to topic as
Right.
we seem fit.
Right. And that episode with Baba Todd was one of the best episodes of the season. Like you said, you talk about the universality of the concepts that we talked about, divination, ritual, ancestor reverence. And I think once people really start to do this comparative study of these different religions or spiritual systems that we hold dear, I think once we start to study them objectively, we'll find that they are all the same, that they are all telling us the same stories. I think
Right.
Carl Jung did a great job of helping Westerners understand that the archetypes spoken of in these different spiritual systems are universal, that they existed independently and without um, interaction with these different cultures. These things existed independently. This tells us that there's some type of collective consciousness, which is what Carl Jung talked about, that everything is an expression of the same thing, that everything comes from the same thing. So whether you're talking about the Bhagavad Gita, whether you're talking about the Vedas, the Bible, the Quran, the Tanakh, whatever it is that you consider yourself to be a part of and study and practice, it's universal. It's all the same. All of the concepts are the same. The stories are the same. And for me, the foundation of all of them is to teach us that we are divine beings having human experiences. That's the foundation of all of them. So, while you're out there studying the Bible, the Quran, whatever, just understand that these things are universal. Your spiritual system is no better than mine. Mine is no better
Mm-hmm.
than yours. We're all making an attempt to do the same thing, and that's to get back to the source from which we came. So yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You know, I've tried to explain that to people. Um, the thing that I loved about when you and I went to the temple, Brother Scott, the Hindu temple, that we were speaking the same language, even though we were talking about Ifa and he was talking about Hinduism. We were
Mm-hmm.
speaking the same language. We
Exactly.
could see the universality of our two respective traditions.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was no issue, there was no area of dissension between us. We spoke the same language.
Mm-hmm.
We spoke our own language, but it was still the same.
Right.
And as we're talking, we see all the commonalities. Matter of fact, it was all commonalities.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there was nothing where it was like, you know, on this topic, you're left and we're right. You know, like we could see the concepts between the two. But the thing about it is that when a spiritual system really reside with you in a organic manner. There's no negativity in talking about it with somebody of a different belief system,
Right.
right? If you find yourself in a conversation about your systems and you're upset or you are offended by certain things, to me, it's like you got to have a conversation with yourself as to why is that the case.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't feel the need to defend E5.
Right.
You know, I didn't create it. It ain't mine. I don't own it.
Right.
Something I came into, and it's been existing for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. I know that E5 was not created with the idea that everybody needs to practice this.
Right.
E5 wasn't created with the idea that we need to go around and get everybody on board. Because think about it, there's no E5 missionaries.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Matter of fact, are there any missionaries outside of Christianity? I don't know.
Not that I know of.
I've
Not
never
that.
heard of Islam
No.
missionaries.
Yeah.
You
No.
know?
Not that I know of. Not that's going. Now you can get some pamphlet. You can get some Islamic pamphlets and things like that. Yeah, I've gotten some Islamic pamphlets and free Qurans and stuff like that, but not the come around knocking on your door type of thing, though.
Right. Or coming to your country.
Right.
You know, I don't know if people go into other people's country and say, "Hey, you ever thought about Allah?" You know,
Right.
can you imagine going to another country and saying, "Hey, do you know that Olodumare loves you?"
Right. Right. You know, I think
You
I
know?
think most indigenous systems, I think the people of those systems understood intuitively that what they practiced was natural and that it was universal. I think they intuitively understood that or thought that this is just what everybody does. Like what we are observing in nature, everybody should be able to observe in nature. So there's no
Right.
reason to go and proselytize. There's no reason to go and do those type of things because what we are observing and what our system is based on is nature. Nature exists everywhere. So naturally you would think that everyone is practicing this type of system. And when you start to study, you understand that people are practicing those types of systems just through different cultural lenses. And then
Mm-hmm.
you throw politics and things like that into it, you get some different nuance. But other than that, all of these things are the same. We're all practicing the same thing.
Absolutely. And culture is important. That's why you can't separate culture from the religion,
Right.
right? You know, if you ask certain people, like, what does an E5 practitioner dress like? They might have an idea of what that looks like, even though that's not E5, that's a culture.
Right.
You know, I've heard people say, yeah, he was dressed like a Muslim. What's that? You know, it's your representation, your idea of the people who you see, usually Arabs, um, and how you see them dressed because you know they're Muslim. So that's what you associate it with. It's a culture, right?
Right.
So, you know, I don't think there's no dress code in a lot of these different places. Hell, they probably prefer for us to be naked, to be perfectly honest. If it probably was a dress code associated with these religions, it would be the way we were born. But that's a
Right.
whole nother thing.
Right. So another thing that we wanted to talk about was the importance of the energy of the universal year and how it's important for us to figure out what that energy is and be in harmony with that energy. I think
Mm-hmm.
what we find is that when we are not operating in the energy that exists in the universe, we find ourselves in what we call a soap bowl. So this year, Universal Year 7, about spirituality, introspection, meditation, spending time alone, all of those different things. Tell me how this universal year 7 and personal year 7s for both of us has treated you this time.
Yeah, this year been some bullshit.
Oh man.
Hey man, so look, here's the thing, right? Um, you and I have the honor and pleasure, it seems like for a lot of years, to be in tune with the universe,
Mhm.
right? So our personal year is the same as the universal year. 7 is a heavy energy,
Mhm.
you know. Now, to me, the only thing that's probably worse is to be in like a personal year 6 and a universal year 7 because of the contradictions or the conflicts between trying to squeeze in family and relationships, right? Reevaluating relationships, that whole knot, being around family, spending time with family more in a year that you're supposed to be by yourself more so you can go within, so you can
Mhm.
have that introspection, right? So you can kind of plan out things, right? And that whole nine. So you can have that growth and evolution in your spirituality. So that's kind of a weird energy to play with. But man, yeah, this year has been, heavy for me. When I look back, and this is something that everybody should do. Whenever you're in a specific year, it's always beneficial to look back at the last time, 9 years ago when you were in that year.
Right.
What did that look like, right? And when I was there last time, a lot of growth, evolution. It was me becoming vegan. It was me really going into history and looking into religion and, well, I would say spirituality, but it was really more religion at that point. I was really doing a deep dive in the religion of choice at the time, which was Christianity, and really diving deep in that. Doing a lot about history. I felt like I went through and got a doctorate in 1 year. Like I started off from kindergarten and got a doctorate in 1 year
Right.
in my personal year 7 and universal year 7 9 years ago. Um, but what I had to, so me telling you that this year has been some bullshit, I have to take ownership of that because 9 years ago, man, I was operating that energy fully. I had just moved to Texas and, I was so ingrained in the books and the study that I was either traveling, and I did a lot of traveling that year. But when I was at home, I wasn't hanging out. I was reading and studying.
Mhm.
So it was a great balance. This year, not a lot of alone time. I haven't done that. At this point, I've probably only been on a plane maybe 4 times, which is completely different than years in the past, where, like I said, I'm 12, 13, 14 plus times a year on a plane. And in that time, not only in the plane, but in my destination, having that alone time to truly unwind. Like when I'm away from home, I don't think about anything but
Mhm.
just in the moment. And then usually I'm taking long plane rides, so I got ample time to read and study, and I'm starting my day off with reading and all that. So I'm doing all these things. I haven't done any of that. And I really had to reflect on it because, now I'm in a personal month 7. So the energy is even more immense. Like I tell people, like, whenever we do readings, or the reason we've done this year, we've let people know like this is the crescendo of your year,
Mhm.
right? This is that month where you're going to really learn in September. And this is for everybody. Everybody, whatever. Now, your universal year and your personal year may not be the same. So let's just focus on your personal year. Whatever your personal year is, this September is going to be the same personal month. So you're going to feel that energy even more intensely. And then at the end of September, you're going to start feeling the energy of the new year coming in a little bit. You're still going to be in whatever personal year you're in through the rest of the year, but you're going to feel that other energy start to creep in a little bit, right? And that's after, that's the end of September. But right now, it's like you're feeling it really, really immensely. But again, with Oseun and myself, universal year, personal year are in alignment. So then with this being a personal month 7, it's a lot of energy, a lot of introspection, a lot of, no kidding, for real. You need to spend some time to yourself. You need to decompress. You need to unwind. You need to reflect. So in me being able to reflect and having that time and actually starting the month off, out of town by myself, in nature, and I got to really reflect, and I looked back, because the Holy Oduo Warren Meji talks about looking back to know how to move forward. So I had to go back 9 years ago and say, what was happening 9 years ago? Man, that was a lot of growth, evolution, expansion, the whole 9. Well, why isn't that happening now? Well, you were a participant 9 years ago. See, this year I'm allowing myself to get carried away with so much stuff that I'm not actually honoring, or I haven't all year honored the energy of the year. Mm-hmm. And so when you don't do that, then you're going to find yourself out of alignment. You're going to find things happening. And that's what I've had happen this year. Things happening, nothing earth-shattering, right? Probably to most people, but for me, and the fact that this is my life I live, it's been noticeable enough to me that, wait a minute, things aren't moving exactly how I want them to move or how they should be moving. Mm-hmm. And I had to realize I'm not moving the way that I'm supposed to be moving. I'm not honoring this energy. Right. So it's on me. So yeah, that's my journey, man. That's my experience for this year. What's it been like for you?
While you were talking, I was counting back those 9 years, and it was pretty much the same for me, man. That was the time when I was starting to get into the esotericism, getting into mysticism and the mystical traditions, getting into Freemasonry and Rosicrucianism and Martinism and all of these different mystical teachings, getting into those things, learning the things that we were learning in the lodge, starting to study things like the Kabbalion and all of these different things. I collected so many books, and just like you, I felt like my growth at that time was tremendous. Like that was a lot learned that year. This time around, like yourself, I feel like that was a lot less learned. Like that was a lot less growth this year 7 for me. It was very minimal. And just like you, not honoring the energy, not actually being in the energy, being cognizant of it all the time, and working through finding alone time. It's difficult, at least for me, when you consider yourself a family man, wanting to be hands-on with your children and wife and things like that. That's kind of a conflicting energy, even though it's not the 6 and the 7. It's still me wanting to be present and participate in the family thing, while at the same time trying to find time to be by myself, decompress, meditate, study, those type of things. So I honestly say that this is probably the least amount of studying I've done in a year, since I would consider myself conscious, since I would consider myself like really on a journey to acquire as much wisdom, knowledge, and understanding as I possibly can and apply that. this is probably the least amount of studying I've done, the least amount of growth that I've had since I've been on this journey. I plan on changing that. I plan on really focusing on the university year. It's easy for us because the university year and our personal years are in alignment. So it's easy for us. But yeah, man, just like you, I did not take full advantage of this universal year 7. So it's coming to an end. I can't really go back and replay this again, but 9 years from this year, when this universal year 7 comes around again, like you said, I'm gonna get that doctorate again. I'm gonna get that all of that learning, all of that introspection, all of that meditation, all of that alone time. I'm gonna get it all over again. And then I got a 2-year-old at home, so it's that's a difficult thing too, because once she's awake, it's over with.
Right, right,
Yeah, it's over with. So yeah, man. I didn't really take advantage of this universal or personal year 7.
right, right. So leave some comments, man. Tell us with your universal year 7. It's nothing more. We all know that it's a universal year 7.
Right.
So everybody felt that tug of, you know, growth and evolution, right? Now, a lot of us probably ignored it,
Mm-hmm.
but we felt it, right? I'm what I call myself a high functioning extrovert. I like being around people. But man, there was for the most of the year, I really didn't want to be around like big groups of people and things like that nature. Like I just wasn't on it. Like, I didn't want to go to events and stuff like that. I kind of just wanted to, you know, sit back a little bit, which again is not really me. Um, but yeah, like you said, we can't go back. But I'm telling you, boy, I'm about to squeeze the juice out of these next couple of months. Boy,
Right.
let me tell you something, man. Plane tickets is booked. Look, yeah, I'm about to squeeze the juice out of these next few months, man.
Yeah.
I can't make it up, but hey, listen, I'm gonna try my damnedest.
Yeah. You can get you an associate's.
I'm thinking about. I'm aiming for a bachelor's though. I'm
Right.
aiming for a bachelor's. I'm gonna give me
Yeah.
a bachelor's before the end of the year, man.
Right.
You
Yeah, I'm gonna
know,
do the same. I'm gonna do the same. I know we talk every day. We'll be talking about what we study and what we're trying to do, how we're trying to expand. But it's a must that we, like you say, squeeze the juice out of these last few months, get as much growth, development, expansion,
right?
all of these different things, elevation, all of these different things, as much as we possibly can for the rest of this universal year 7, personal year
Absolutely,
7. Yeah.
absolutely. You know, I think this is a good transition for the last thing that we wanted to talk about. You and I talking about what we plan to do for the next, few months going into 2024. That's crazy how we're almost at 2024. It feel like it went by so fast. Was it last weekend? Our Luo started this series with one of the senior elders, Barbara Chris, on intentions. You know, you know how they had a series at church for all of y'all who are familiar with church. They have a little series. The pastor had you on series for about 4, 5, 6, 10 different Sundays. Well, we about to go on a series, and the series about intentions. And I don't want to. We're not necessarily going to rehash the whole conversation, but I do think because we're in what we call that harvest season, right? And we're preparing to go into the next year and the next universal energy, which is an 8. That is, it's time for us to set some intentions on what we're going to do, what we want to do, what we're trying to manifest, what we want to bring into the new year. So So what do you think about not only like, the series that um, Baba LaChris started about intention? What's your whole idea about that whole concept of intentions?
So when I first started calling myself studying psychology, I wanted my education in psychology to be well rounded. I had already started getting into esotericism and mysticism and things like that. So I wanted to get into the esoteric psychology also. In studying the esoteric psychology, I came across these concepts of intentions and how they were explained in esotericism. Uh, one author in particular, I believe his name is C.C. Zane. He talked about the difference between desires and intentions. He talked about your desires being uh, energies held in potential, and that your intentions were what you actually put out into the universe. It's the focus of your desires, putting it out into the universe. And based on universal law, the energies that go out into the universe, they attract energies like into themselves and bring those energies back to the source, which is you. So I think about that all the time when we're doing ritual and we're trying to set our intention. When we are chanting, when we are praying, when we are using our, as we call in Ifa, our Ofo Ashe, when we are speaking our intentions, I try to focus on what is it that I really want to attract to myself, or what really are we trying to attract to the person that we may be doing the ritual for. So I think intentions are very, very, very important, because without intentions, there is no power in the things that we're trying to do. So we have to push out, those energies, our desires, out into the universe so that we can attract the things that we desire. Now, you and I have talked personally about needing to know what it is that you are here to do. Speak more to that, about needing to know what it is that you're here to do, so that you are setting the right intentions and not intentions that you think may be beneficial for you and they are not.
Right, right. So when you look at the old dudes like Otor talks about, the Ori, connecting with your higher self, understanding, the choices that you made in heaven. Um, and it talks about self-awareness and self-discovery, right? By knowing yourself, you are able to attract the opportunities, the people, the things that are in alignment with your destiny and purpose. So when you're setting these intentions, it is a must to understand who you are.
Mhm.
So A, that you can set intentions that are in alignment with your destiny and purpose. And B, if you're setting intentions that are not in alignment with your destiny and purpose, more than likely they're not going to happen.
Mm-hmm. Or
It's
be
not going to
short lived.
happen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You know, you have to understand what is your realm of possibility, right? You know, if you don't know that, then you're misplacing your energy, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're misplacing your efforts. And to me, is an energy, right? Like what you just explained about the difference between desires and intentions is an energy, right? So that's why we had the episode with Baba Dare talking about your natal chart. Because again, if you don't know who you are, then can you really know what you want, what you need,
Mm-hmm.
right? What is beneficial to you, what's not beneficial to you, what's harmful to you. If you don't know who you are, you don't know those things, you're just guessing, right? Or you are choosing things based upon this ego, this character that you created based upon, your background, the neighborhood you grew up in, your friend group, what's cool at the time, you know, certain things that may just come natural to you. So yeah, it's of the utmost importance. And like I said, that's why we have divination, right? That's why we go through Ishe Fa, or Hand of Ifa, or why we go through Tefa or priesthood initiations. These are all, amongst other things, right? They are all ways to get to know ourselves better. When you go through those initiations or initiating ceremonies, at the end of that, you get an Odu. You get your energy pattern in a different way, right? Ishe Fa, that's a tool that's going to help you throughout your life. Itefa, that is your true destiny and purpose. That's what that information is. So you got to know that. You got to know who you are. And there's a lot of ways in which you can find that out. But astrology is one of the most full, the most complete, the most specific ways in which you can find out who you are. What did you come here to do?
Right. Right. And through astrology, there's this belief, or seems to be a belief, that the time in which you came through the portal and where those planets or those energies were at the time determines the tools, talents, and gifts that you brought with you to this realm to help you to manifest the destiny or the purpose or the life work that you chose while still in the spirit realm. Understanding that you chose these things as a spirit with no ego and with no bias, with the understanding that these are the experiences that I need to have. These are the things that I need to do in order to elevate, so that at some point I don't have to keep coming back and forth again. You and I have talked personally about the Odu Irosu Iwori. Is it Irosu Iwori or is it
Mm-hmm.
Iwori Irosu? Oh, it's Odu number 78 in the E5 Oracle. In the
Mm-hmm.
Sacred E5 Oracle is Odu number
Mm-hmm.
78. And it's talked about as the same way I believe the Buddhists or the Hindus talk about reincarnation, as reincarnation being this, I don't want to use the word punishment, but it's because you have not become who you are supposed to become yet. So you have to
Mm-hmm.
keep coming back and forth. You have to keep coming until you get it right. So
Right.
Ifa says that we will continue to travel between the spirit realm and this realm until we reach what Ifa calls the good position or the good condition. And we'll continue to do this thing until we get it right. So it is of the utmost important that we realize who we are, that we realize our reason for being here, our purpose, our why, what tools, talents, and gifts we brought with us to manifest that thing, and then start to put our intentions out into the universe. You and I both read The Alchemist, and The Alchemist, there's this thing in The Alchemist where it said that if you want something bad enough, if you desire something bad enough, that the universe will conspire with you to make sure that you get that thing, but only if you are desiring or setting your intentions toward the things that actually have an affinity to you, that are actually for you, will you get those things and be able to hold on to those things, and like Baba says, maintain and expand upon those things.
Absolutely. Think about how much time we waste in being things, beings, titles that are not in alignment with who we came here to be.
Mm.
And I'm gonna tell you this too, and this is gonna be a thing for most people. There is something about you that you love, that you adore, that you like telling people about yourself, that is in opposition to who you came here to be.
Right.
And that's the friction, right? That's the friction of life. That thing that you just love, that you got to give up to be who you came here to be.
Mm-hmm.
And while that may seem to most people like, dang, why I have to give up something I love? Man, what's waiting on you on the other side of that sacrifice is blessings beyond anything that you could ask for.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? That brings me to as I just now said, I thought about the a gospel song. And he starts off with a prayer, and he basically said that. It's funny. It's just how I said it. I think like, wait a minute, I think I've heard that before. So
You plagiarized it, man. You
yeah, I
plagiarized
did. I just think like, wait a minute, I done heard that before.
it.
But yeah, man. So you got to give up the character, man. You got to give up the character so you can find your true self.
Right.
Yeah.
And see, and for me, this is another universal concept that is spoken about. We'll use Jesus, the dark night of the soul. It's talked about in most mystical traditions, most esoteric traditions. It's talked about the dark night of the soul and the pain and the anguish and these negative experiences that you have before you find enlightenment. Before you find enlightenment, you must go through the dark night of the soul. And in some instances, the dark night of the soul is, like you just said, breaking away from the thing that you think you love, that you think you desire, that you think you are here to do, but it's not working out for you. You may have to give that up and really find out who you are, really find out your purpose, your reason, your why for being here, and get into that thing. And that transition is uncomfortable. That transition is the dark night of the soul. It's the darkness that you must go through to be reborn and to find enlightenment. So that's a difficult thing to do. That's a difficult process to go through, and not many people are willing to go through that, tearing down the layers of the self that we've created, the ego that we've created. So yeah, man.
That made me think of something, and I think it's in Iwori Otor. It's either in Iwori something or Erosu, but I think it's Iwori.
Talk to me about it.
I'm about to tell you if I find it. Oh, Otor Iwori.
Otori Wari.
Yeah, it talks about Otor Iwori requires courage. Transformation instigated by spirit can be difficult. Sometimes it leads to changes we don't want or like. The Odu below says, fear had made one abandon weeding the surroundings of a palm tree. In other words, the fear of the unexpected that comes with true transformation leads one to abandon the effort to clean up our orrery. Every time I read that, I think of what I was just saying about there's something about you that you just love that just got to go.
Mm-hmm.
And it's that fear of disassociating yourself from that thing because maybe that's what made you popular. Maybe that's what makes people like you.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's been your outlet, when you're dealing with different things, so that's your thing, right? And in order to go to where you're supposed to go, where spirit is intended for you to go, you got to sacrifice some of those things. We know what we're giving up, but we don't know what we're gaining.
Right. That's the
That's
difficult
where,
part.
right? That's where the anxiety comes from. That's where
Mm-hmm.
the fear comes from, right?
Right.
Man, listen. This is what this universal year 7 is all about, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? That transformation that starts from the inside,
Right.
right? Because I know a lot of people who always got a new hairdo, who always got new clothes, who always doing new things with their makeup, but on the inside they're the same. See that those external changes are easy. Hair grows back. You know what I'm saying? You color your hair one color, you don't like it, you can go ahead and dye it back. You try your makeup this way, maybe you're feeling it, maybe you're not. You could do something different. But that inner transformation, that requires work. That requires changing the how you think. That requires changing the things that you do, maybe the people that you hang around.
Mm-hmm.
Man, listen. That's what my personal year 7 9 years ago was.
Right.
everything was up for sale. I'm like, hey, we could throw it all away.
Mm-hmm.
But
Yeah.
this one, it was that fear of the unexpected that comes with the true transformation leads one to abandon the effort to clean up our orrery.
Right.
That's what's been going on this year.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. For me too, man. I felt that. I felt that energy too. Like you say, 9 years ago. Yeah, it was grind central. It was grind central, man. You couldn't find me without a book. You couldn't find me without learning something new, telling somebody about something new I've learned, some new concept. I'm studying some new tradition that I found that I'm trying to learn about and study. But
Yep.
this year was lacking. I found myself uh, lacking a lot this year. But like you say, man, we're gonna pick it up these last few months, squeeze the juice out of it, as you say, get some studying
Mm-hmm.
in, try to get us an associate's or a bachelor's, you know, try to step foot in the grad school and see what we can get popping out here, man.
Absolutely, man. Man, it's been a beautiful season.
Beautiful season.
It's been a beautiful season, man. This was dope, man. I loved every second of it. And man, it was a lot of work. It's a lot of work that goes into this, man. But man, we love it, man. We enjoy it. The people that we've met as a result, the conversations that we've had as a result, man, it's dope. And we greatly appreciate y'all for hanging in with us. We greatly appreciate y'all for showing up each and every week. Um, we got a little bit of a break coming, before we come right back over it, man. But what we want to say to y'all, man, squeeze the juice out of these last few months. These last few months can really turn around this whole year, this whole
Mm-hmm.
experience, right?
Right.
What I would tell each and every one of y'all is do not be afraid of change. Do not be afraid of doing something different. Do not be afraid of growth and evolution and expansion, right? You know, life is for the living. So live it. Live it to the fullest, man. And, I'm end it with the way we've ended it all season. Live life out loud and on purpose. Until next season, we love y'all. Peace.
Peace.